Welcome to today's tutorial. Today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be creating a distortion effect on the dancer like you can see in the image provided. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete all these layers, and now what you should have is you should have the start image available. It's you can download it from the description box below and then put it into Photoshop. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and click my move tool, and once I've done that I'm going to right click up here, my move tool, and I'm going to hit reset all tools, and I'm going to hit OK. This way your Photoshop will look exactly the same as my Photoshop. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer here, and on this layer I'm going to draw the shape which I'm going to use. In this instance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click my lasso tool and I'm going to use the polygon lasso tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click and draw a triangle, and then when I double click here it will join the triangle, and it has drawn a triangle for me, and we have the marching ants around the triangle. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and right click the triangle, and I'm going to say stroke this triangle. Now in this particular instance 10 pixels is about the right width of the stroke, and I want to go for color white. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK to that. And now you can see that we have this very thin triangle above the dancer. If you want a wider triangle, you just increase the number of pixels, or you can have, of course, a different color. So I no longer need my marching ants, so I'm going to hit Command and D to deselect that selection. Now what you can do at this stage is you can come into your layer 1 and hit Command and J, and this will duplicate your layer, and then if I go Command and T, I'm now able to rotate that second layer and press Enter to apply that. If I want to do it again, of course, I can Command and J and just keep doing this as many times as I want. Command and T to transform again, and I'll rotate it around like that. Okay, so because I've got a couple of different layers here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of these layers that form the triangles into a group. So I click the first layer, I hold down my shift key, and I click my last layer, and now I'm going to drag all of these into a new folder called a group. It's called group 1, and we can hide or reveal all of those together. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the background layer, and I'm going to Command and J, so I've now got a copy of the dancer, and I'm going to bring that to the top of the layer stack right up there, so it's now covering the group with all the triangles in it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to Photoshop up here, and I'm going to get the object selection tool. I'm going to click that. I'm just going to go ahead and draw around my dancer like this, and Photoshop in the background will be trying to select the dancer as it has indeed done here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a layer mask by clicking this icon down here, and what it has done is it has created the layer mask, and we are now of course seeing through to the triangles below. Now that does look very cool, but I think we can make it even better by colorizing those triangles. And how we do that is we click down here to our group layer, and I'm going to go ahead and create a layer mask here by clicking this icon down here, and then I'm going to go ahead to the gradient option up here. And now with the gradient option we can just select this down and we can choose any color that we like. I'm just going to move this out of the way so you can see, and then I can hit OK to apply it there. Now the cool thing about this adjustment layer is at any time I can click this icon here and I can change the colors that I have applied. So any color that you want, you can go ahead and change it here. So I'm going to hit OK to that. Now what I would like to do is I would like this adjustment of the color to only apply to the group. And how you do that is you hold down the option button and you go between the two layers and you get this icon there. And now when you click it, the adjustment of this blue only applies to the triangles. Now it looks kind of cool in blue, but I think we can do better. So I'm going to go ahead and double click in this area here, and I'm going to try a different color, for example, and that's okay. Double click it again, and now I can maybe try to scale it. So we're bringing in some blues there. Maybe I want the angle to come from a different perspective. You can change all of these settings here, the scale, as much as you like until you get something that you really like. So that's how you put a color behind a dancer in this case. Feel free to experiment with using, instead of triangles, different shapes and different colors to create some visual variation. And here ends today's video tutorial.